Women will be diagnosed with breast cancer in their lifetime. 1 out of 8. It is the most commonly diagnosed cancer among women. It is the second leading cause of death among women. Each year it is estimated that over 220,000 women in the United States will be diagnosed with breast cancer, and over 40,000 in the United States will die each year from breast cancer. And although breast cancer in men is rare, there's an estimated that 2,150 men will be diagnosed with breast cancer each year, and of that number, 410 are expected to die. African American women, and not because I'm African American, but because this is an alarming statistic for all people, it doesn't matter if you're black, purple, blue, or pink. Amen? Amen. African American women have the highest cancer mortality overall, and it is the most common cancer among African American women. It is also the second leading cause of cancer death among African American women, only exceeded by lung cancer. Immigrants in the U.S., those who are not natural born citizens, actually have an incidence rate of their native countries unless they've been here for a while. And it is then their children, their daughters, their granddaughters begin to carry on the likelihood that we as Americans have. So they go against wherever they're from and begin to take up whatever it is that we have here that causes us to be more likely to be diagnosed with breast cancer. For those diagnosed from 2003 to 2009, the 5-year relative survival rate for breast cancer among African American women was 79%, compared to 92% for white women. And these are some of the differences. Genetics. It is what it is. We really can't do much about genetics. If you're born with it, it is what it is. But there are other reasons besides that. Prevalence of risk factors. Obesity is one of them. Bet you didn't know that for some of us, but weight is a contributing factor to cancer. Barriers to health care. Could be socioeconomic status, it could be education, but there are different reasons why some of us, we don't go to the doctor. Just plain and simple. That's the cutest way I can say it. We don't like to go to the doctor. Health behaviors. And a later stage at diagnosis, which means you feel a lump, something isn't right, your body's whispering to you, it's all right, I'll catch you next year, I'm good, or I don't want to deal with it. And those are the reasons why many lives are stolen from us, because we have the warning signs and we just decide we're just not going to worry about it right now. We worry about it, oftentimes it's too late. So, for those of you who are here today, you survived. Amen. Hallelujah. Amen. You beat the odds. Percentages didn't matter. Some of you had a 0% chance of survival, but you're here. You're here. And I would like to thank you because of God's grace. His grace. There was a song that I used to listen to growing up. Amazing Grace. Vanessa, I'm not a singer. I'm not going to try. But let me tell you, I used to wonder what all the hype was about this amazing grace. What are they talking about? It's amazing grace. And then the other day, I played the song. I played the instrumental and I fell on my face and I cried out to the Lord and I said, oh, because of your amazing grace. Because it was not for your grace. None of us could be here today to tell our story. Grace. It is defined as divine influence. It operates in humans to regenerate and sanctify. It is to impart strength to endure or to resist. It is an individual of virtue or excellence of divine origin. Now, because we're honoring survivors, let's talk about what a survivor is. A survivor is a person who survives, especially a person who remains alive after an event where most people have died. Yeah. So again, we thank God for survival this morning. It is the remainder of a group. Those who weather the storm, those who against all odds are still here today. You survived. It is a person who copes with the difficulties of life. And as I was preparing this message, I had no idea all the week. I'm like you, what would you have me to say? Because I am not a breast cancer survivor. But oh, I am a survivor. We all are a survivor of something, and everybody has a story to tell. This is not a black thing or white. This is a matter of survival. This is for humanity. And I'm so glad today to see a variety of people in the room that shows that this thing doesn't discriminate against color. This is about humanity. So here's the story. It was a cozy February evening in 2000. a 31-year-old newlywed. I was chatting on the phone and absentmindedly fingered the V-neck of my pajama top when I felt something hard, like a marble, under my collarbone in my right breast. Just 5 days later, I was in the hospital undergoing a bilateral mastectomy and having 30 lymph nodes removed from under my right arm to check for spreading. During the 6-hour operation, there were some 30 friends and relatives in the waiting room. Some of us don't have family and friends to support us. Sometimes you have to go through things all by yourself. But we thank God in this situation that this lady had support. And this is what we're here for, to support each other. This is what this is all about. All of them had danced at my wedding just a mere 16 weeks ago. Now they waited as my breasts were taken off. I fought aggressively with the entire medical arsenal offered to me, and with the love and support of an army of people, believing that if I did everything just right, if I took care of myself just right, if I exercised just right, if I ate the right foods and I did the right things, I believed that I could beat the cancer. Sometimes we think we can do it all in our own strength, amen? For someone like me, who was better at giving than receiving, it was a challenge to learn how to let myself fall, how to really fall hard, and at the same time to open myself up to the outrageous amount of support from my family. Some of us are used to being the helper but don't know how to receive help. I know I'm guilty of that. So I received support from my friends, my colleagues, and to me, falling meant letting go of my desire or need to control things and to accept my medical and physical reality as it was. And it is not giving up. Instead, it is collapsing into the humbling reality that so much is really out of my hands. There is a peace that comes along with really understanding that some things are just out of your hands. There are some things you just can't do anything about. It's not your fault, nothing that you did. It just comes to a place in your life where there's nothing you can really do about it. Amen. And there's a peace that comes along with this. I mention this only because when I was able to really let myself go, could I accept the help and begin to rebuild my life. As anyone who has dealt with cancer, they will understand, day by day, I found myself grounding again. I racked up good appointments, clean scans, and there was some distance from the trauma. I never again felt the solid grounding that I had imagined before the sickness, but it was sufficient. I did not want to wish my time away, but sometimes it was hard not to. The further I got away from my treatments, the more optimistic my loved ones and I felt. Days turned into months. Months became years. My husband and I eventually got the okay to conceive and gave birth to a daughter and a son. Life went on for us. Life goes on. Yes, it goes on. When we buried my mom 6 months ago, she passed from urethral cancer. I remember telling my mom, how in the world am I going to make it without you? And I remember her lifting her hand saying, Kellie, you'll be fine. And I'm here today and I'm fine. I miss my mom, but I'm carrying that torch and I'm fine. And so life went on. Finally, after 10 years, she heard the words that she had been longing to hear. My doctor said, you're cured. 10 years of being normal. Normal blood work, normal tumor markers, normal scans, everything was normal, except it wasn't. This is not to scare anybody, this is just life. This is life. About a year later, I suddenly lost my voice. Inaudible. I couldn't scream or whisper. We went to a slew of doctors to try and figure out what it was, and grabbing at what appeared to be straws, we finally said, could this be related to breast cancer? And of course, everyone said no. For months, I believed them when they told me it was bronchitis. After performing more tests, they found that the cancer had returned and had spread to my chest wall and lungs. After all those years, 10 years, apparently the cancer had been my constant companion, and it will continue to be for as long as I am here. This time, although treatable, it's incurable. This time, I'm the mom of 2 beautiful children. This time, my heart broke irreparably. I took to bed and was deeply depressed for 3 months. Today, I do my best. I will give and receive as much love as I can for as long as I can. I find meanings in things that if I wasn't in the situation that I'm in, I wouldn't find meaning in, like having a cup of hot cocoa or being able to go to work, being able to sit down and talk with family and friends. You know, when everything is all good, we kind of pass those things by. It doesn't mean much. You know, I remember my mom, you know, saying, if I could just take a shower. Yeah. The things we take for granted, we jump in and out of the shower, we rush along, we say, Lord, what's up? And we just keep rolling, but somebody somewhere is just, Lord, if I could just lift my hand, if I could just bathe myself, if I could just eat, if I could just speak. The things we take for granted, right? Okay. The point is, you have to find meaning wherever you can, whenever you can. That's what life is all about. Even if you haven't had cancer, you have to fight sometimes just to show up. We don't know each other's struggles. We don't know what each other go through. You put on this makeup and these heels or the tie, whatever, and dying sometimes on the inside, hurting, screaming for help on the inside, and still getting up saying, praise the Lord. I'm blessed and highly favored. Good morning. And people like, Lord help me. That's life. That's life. I'm 34 years old, but I tell you, I've been, I'm telling you now, I've been through it now. So we thank God for that.
Yes.
Sometimes it's easier than others to be present, to do well by those you care about, to care for those who are relying on you, and to feel worthy. But know that you are enough. Instead of low self-esteem and feelings of inadequacy, be driven instead by fullness and integrity.
Yes.
My most recent scan showed that the cancer is stable. I hold out hope. I want to change the world. But how can I do that if I'm nothing against the cancer? I have to believe that I matter and that I have a right to be here, because we all do.
Yes.
Now, I felt it necessary to share this story because many of us, whether you're a cancer survivor or whatever you're going through, can relate in one way or the other. What do you do when you've done the best that you can and it still seems like life won't let up?
Yes, baby.
What do you do when you pray and pray, there seems to be no answer? What do you do when you, Lord, help me, I know you see me, I know you're suffering, I know the pain, and you just seem to be disinterested in my prayer petition? Don't you see that I'm hurting? Don't you see that my family's dependent on me? Don't you see that if you bury me, who's going to take care of my children? That's one of the reasons why I wrote the book. I was taking care of my mother at the time when God is silenced. The book is in the back, and everybody want to take a copy later, it will bless you. But that's not about what I'm here for. I'm here to bring hope today. I'm here to inspire today. And if your heart is led for you to purchase the book, God bless you. If it's not, God bless you. It's okay. But what do you do when the script of your life does not play out the way you anticipated? When you planned on having the perfect life and the perfect marriage and the perfect health, and you want to live as long as Moses lived, and then something happens. Because life has its way of allowing things to happen. And we find ourselves wondering, God, where are you? Anybody ever ask God, where are you? Do you hear me? I mean, I'm praying. Hello, God. Oh, maybe y'all get out and answer your prayers like that. But I'm talking about myself this morning. And sometimes it seems like God is totally disinterested in what I'm praying about. You know, when you're fighting to make a difference, when you're fighting for your life, when you're fighting for your family, when you're fighting for unsaved loved ones, when you're fighting for a career change, when you're fighting because you're tired of your bank account being in the red. I know somebody here knows what I'm talking about. When you're fighting because your bad credit, when you're fighting just to stay alive, just to breathe, just to give somebody hope. Anybody ever been in a fight? And it seems like you're fighting and fighting and you fight a while and you lean on the ropes a while and you fight a while and you lean on the ropes a while. Okay, I'm glad I got somebody here. But all of our battles are different. Our journeys are all different. The things that we learn along the way are all different. But what I've discovered in my own life and in my own little journey to my destiny is that victory, the road to victory, is lonely. Now, I don't know about you, but sometimes it's like, what am I doing? Am I dropping a pebble into the ocean? And I find myself sometimes in my suffering, I try to rush. Okay, Lord, thank you. Let's just hurry this up. I'm hurting. Let's speed this along. I mean, my mom used to say, I don't know just how much more I can take this. You gotta just take me home. I said, Mom, it's not time. Oh Lord, please take me. And she stayed here a good while. And she was like, oh, okay, I'm ready to go now. Can't you just take me? It was something that was a work for her to do. And until your work is done, I decree it over your life today that until your work is done, you're not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere. I decree it in Jesus' name. We're all at different phases in life. We got little babies in here, all up to the older people, the wise folks. Folks be sharing stuff with the young folks. If you're not sharing with somebody, come on and make an impartation. We need your help. Boy, we got a generation coming up, and a lot of them are lost. But it's our fault. We got to tell them this right now. What I'm equipped to handle is different from what you're equipped to handle. God is our architect. He knows what we can hold. We don't know. Oh, I can't handle this. Yes, you can. You're still here. If you're still here, you can handle it. And there's no rationale for why one thing happens to this person and one thing happens to you. And my grandmama, she's 90 and she had colon cancer 20 years ago. And she